what's going on? Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Deborah. This is Purusha Intuitive, and this is our weekly astrology reading. Whoop whoop. So we are walking into this week. It is the week of February 20th through the 26th, and we're walking in with a new moon, which is pretty awesome, I think. The aspects, the transits for this new moon, thankfully, are a little bit easier than what we are dealing with lately. Just as the tension has kind of been building, mounting, various things are still kind of hitting us from different angles. So new moons are always perfect times to kind of set our intentions. We look at what is working in our life, what is not, and then we try to make adjustments accordingly. So with this new moon in Pisces, it gives us a really good opportunity to connect with our true, authentic heart desires. Piscean energy is incredibly watery. Number one, I should say happy birthday to all the Pisces celebrating out there this week. We just moved into Pisces season. And like I said, it's really a great time to just kind of connect with our more intuitive nature. In my opinion, Pisces is one of the most, watery signs out of the bunch. It is really great at kind of ascending to the ethers or diving into the depths and really kind of figuring out more of the esoteric things of life, which can be a little bit scary sometimes, right? Like sometimes we can get lost in our emotion, in our feeling, fearing the worst, etc. That's where some earth energy to ground us really comes in handy. But yeah, so let's look at this new moon chart to start off. So like I said, there's not a lot of tension. What you will see, depending on, obviously for everyone, I should say this might be showing up in different places in your life. That's where the house systems come into play, and depending on what time you were born will dictate, like I said, where your house placements are, where the planetary placements are for you, and how it's manifesting. You can totally check out that information. AstroSeek is one of my fave websites, but there's plenty of free tools. I'm sure there's a lot more modern things too out there nowadays. So with this new moon, like I said, it feels a little bit easier. Not that the hardship and the challenge has been completely removed per se, but I think there is a level of confidence with this new moon. It is conjunct, meaning right on top of or within the 10-degree range of Saturn. And Saturn is our celestial taskmaster. So it's what teaches us our life lessons, regardless of whether we want to learn or not. Whoop, whoop, right? So with that all being in conjunct, Saturn's also in Aquarius. And that is really going to just put the stress or the tension on things that, we don't expect. Maybe in areas like our friendship, different friendships, different relationships, people that kind of have opposing opinions, beliefs. There might be some tension in that space, and kind of like how we feel about ourselves, both emotionally and what we're kind of putting out into our world, what we're projecting. This is going to make things emotional. I can definitely feel that in the air today. Like, there is this element of heaviness, but it's hopeful. So it's kind of like when you've been going through it and, you can see the light is at the end of the tunnel, but it's like, okay, I still have to remain strong to get to that space. This is going to also kind of affect, like I said, relationships do come into focus. New moons are more about how we deal with ourselves, our relationship with ourselves, and also our close and intimate relationships. There is, a lot going on in Pisces, actually Pisces sign, Aries, as well as Aquarius. So that's kind of putting this emphasis on not only ourself, but then how we're showing, like how I said, how we're showing up in our world, how it's actually like interacting with the people around us, or the people that like we want to be in our friendship group, in our circle, etc. Pluto is going to be moving out of Capricorn quite soon. Pluto deals with death and rebirth, the different changes that are happening. So that's going to start easing some of the tension on what we see. If we are struggling with relationships, as soon as Pluto moves out, we're actually going to see new people, new individuals come in, new opportunities for social experiments, or I don't even actually, I think that might not be a good thing. I don't know. Social outings, social experiments. I think that's like reality TV, right? Well, you could be, hey man, it was a Freudian slip, right? Channeling a message for someone. So be mindful of that. That energy is going to help ease and lessen as well. One of the main things that's going to kind of drag us down or knock us off course is this South Node in Scorpio. We want to be really mindful that we're not reverting to like bad behavior or just like sticking it to someone just to stick it to them. That can kind of be our knee-jerk reaction. The idea is to be able to obviously, rise above. With the North Node in Taurus, and that's also loosely conjunct Uranus. So that really talks about it's not about saying F you to someone, it's about learning how to work creatively with the situation that you're given. So there is an element of rising above, being cognizant of the lessons you need to learn, how you need to maybe switch, show up a little bit better in your life. But then also kind of like giving yourself a little affirmation for the work that you're doing, especially with Jupiter and Chiron or Chiron conjunct in Aries. So it's that basically means that the more we are working to empower ourselves, the more we're going to see that fortune, that abundance come in. Again, that's why it's an awesome time to set your intentions, your desires, what you want to bring into this world, the changes that you want to make. And yeah, it might mean leaving some relationships, people, places, things behind. It might be sad, it might be hard, but it also looks like with the transits, Mercury trine to Mars, Mercury also sextile to Jupiter, like Spirit's really bringing that opportunity for you to feel strong and confident and make the steps that you need to. Even if you are a little hesitant and uncertain, that Saturn energy is going to make you question yourself. It's going to basically ignite like all the places that we doubt ourselves or other people doubt us, and we let those tapes play in our mind. The beauty is that Venus energy that is sextile to Pluto is one of the heavier aspects, and that's going to actually allow us to like love ourselves through the process. Mercury sextile to Chiron is also going to help us with our communication around why we're doing what we're doing, the choices that we're making, etc. Not everyone understands it, right? Sometimes we just have to be confident in what we're choosing, or, just making a choice and recognizing that there might be good and bad that comes with it. I don't like to say it in that way because I think a lot of times it's just like Spirit's way of helping us evolve and learn on our path, and we have multiple options about what we choose. But what's amazing about astrology is it helps us kind of look at the energies, what is being kind of heightened, enlivened, etc., and what we kind of need to get rid of. Is there anything else I want to touch on? Just like I said, be careful. There is a little bit of tricky energy. Neptune is in Pisces right now, which sometimes can create a lot of illusions. And then with the North Node square to Black Moon Lilith, that will amplify that value. Where we might think something, just make sure to fact check it. That's always a good solution, right? Instead of like sitting there like, oh, I know this person's doing this, this, and this. We all fall into that, you know, but sometimes, you know, I think Black Moon Lilith is really tricky. She likes to make it seem a certain way. And if we are sensitive to a certain, you know, situation or idea about ourselves or something along those lines, it can be really easy to kind of fall into that fear, you know, the fear of the unknown. So I'm going to pull a few cards from this really awesome astrology deck just to close out this new moon video. I guess it only ended up being the new moon. I will do another astrology one for the week. I'm a little bit behind in my astrology stuff, so I apologize. So we'll look and see what is the highest and best message that we need to take with us for this new moon. New moon in Pisces. Highest and best. Oops. Ooh. Gemini and vertex point. That duality like keeps popping up. That's been a theme. I'm going to put those back. That's been a theme though lately. Like just the duality of situations. I kind of had that epiphany this morning. You know, sometimes we can be so set in our mind and our thought and how something is or we think it is. But then when our perspective opens up, you know, when we see it from the other person's lens or how it might come across a certain way, it can be really humbling, right? A humbling experience. But that's being a human, you know, giving ourselves grace where grace is due, but then also like standing in our power at the same time. So the message, okay, so kind of taking a step back this new moon, like I said, it's a great time to kind of withdraw. Yeah, there might be some stuff about relationships popping up, but just take that step back and make sure that you are, sorry, I hope that's not too loud, guys. Sorry about that. I hope the music hasn't been too loud. But yeah, taking a step back, going within, really just kind of spending some time reflecting, gauging where you're at, and then kind of looking at, you know, I should say Pisces also rules the 12th house. So it's the last sign before we restart that zodiac cycle. And it's a great time of releasing and letting go, especially of this stuff that does not serve us. The stuff that makes us unhealthy, make toxic choices, you know, like the things that just don't honor who we are, you know, and how we want to be in our world, you know. I know everyone that's going to be different, but I'm sure we can all name people who like might just not be the best influence or person to be around, etc. And that's really where this retrograde comes into play, of taking that step back. Yeah, I love that Libra energy. So finding the balance. It's ruled by Venus, giving yourself love, care, acceptance, grace, but knowing what to cut off, right? Knowing what to let go of. And it doesn't have to be a big to-do. You can just like walk away or, you know, take some time. We really have to look at how we are setting ourselves up in our material world, because it does affect everything around us. The second house is ruled by Taurus, also Venus energy. So it's about, right now, it's about loving and supporting yourself and making sure that you're surrounding yourself with people that do, because that is what makes us grow and thrive. And it is working with what we have. It's working with our resources, being inventive about how we're approaching things. We're all incredibly creative. We just got to tap in, you know, do a little meditation, quiet your mind, you know, find that inner space where the still small voice is speaking to you. Yeah, baby. 12th house, confirmation. Thank you, Spirit. I love that because it really just talks about, I'll read the card. This is the house of intuition and unconscious. Here's where we can see transcendent experiences, hospitals, prisons, secret agendas, and hidden enemies, as well as unknown possibilities and one's weaknesses. This house is also associated with long-term confinement, seclusion, and psychic abilities. So just that element of, you know, we have to prepare ourselves. Usually that means taking a step back, knowing ourselves, getting in tune with who we are, with what we want, regardless of what we're coming into. Because when these things get presented, whether it's something you're not expecting, something coming out of left field, some Saturn energy that just throws you off, it gives you a lot more grounding and stability to make better decisions and choices for yourself. And then you just feel better. You know, it makes life like way better, right? So thank you guys so much for tuning into this new moon astrology. I appreciate all the love and support always. I hope it helps you navigate the energies today. Lots of love, lots of blessings.